welcome to the VeryVera show. I am so happy to be here tonight and certainly very happy to have Hyler Henson from Aiken. She is one of my cooking camp students and has actually been with me for 3 years. She is a cooking camper of the week, quite an honor, and she said that she would help me do the ABCs of fall cooking tonight. So Hyler, we are going to do A, apple pies fried, which is what we're working on now. We're going to do B, a banana bread pudding with a bourbon sauce. And then finally C, we're going to do candy corn. Yum. Does that sound like fun? Well, let's get started. Okay, Hyler is working on the actual pastry for the turnover, and we've got the little Crisco sticks, and she is cutting that into squares to go into the plain flour over there. So if you'll just keep doing that and start blending that together. And then I have the apples that we got cooked down and ready. And you know, you can, this time of year, certainly you can use fresh apples, but you can also use dried apples, which is what I did today. You know, just having something like that in the pantry when you're doing this sort of thing makes it really nice, and I like it to stay kind of chunky. So you get started on the same process. Hyler is going to incorporate the Crisco into that flour so that I can pour the buttermilk in just a minute. So what we're going to do here is just get it mixed in with the sugar and the cinnamon, all those wonderful fall smells. And then I'm going to add some fresh lemon juice. And you see, we actually cut the lemon today. We didn't cheat on the lemon juice. So this is going to be our really chunky apple filling to go in those turnovers. And that looks great. She's got it just so it's kind of coarse. I'm going to add some buttermilk to that, and then just take a fork and Hyler, I'll let you do that. She actually told me that her grandmother makes the best, what was it?
Buttermilk biscuits.
Buttermilk biscuits ever. And she'll go over there and eat them and then call her dad and make him jealous. I thought that was fun. Okay, so basically you're going to get this just moistened through. And now we are going to move down because we got smart and did this ahead. So I'm going to get what we did earlier out of the fridge. And this is just a really nice dough. And what I've done is divide it. And now Hyler is going to make some little balls out of it. Let me grab that filling. Okay. And once we have the little ball, you flatten it out into a 3-inch circle. So if you'll just put those there, I went ahead and made some. I just took the circle and flattened it, then the rolling pin and rolled it out. So I'm going to put about a tablespoon of the apple filling right in the center of one of these. And like I said, you want the apples not to be smushy. So now we're going to just roll that over. And why don't you take a break from doing that? I borrowed your fork. And now we're going to crimp the edges and make sure I've got the apple in there really well. And now we're just going to get it sealed. And you want to make sure you get every part of that turnover. Do you like apple pies?
Sometimes.
Well, I love them, and I actually love just the smell of them cooking is even better. You know, they make candles that'll make you think you're cooking an apple pie. That's a trick for when you get married, Hyler, is to burn an apple candle. Okay, let's put a little bit more filling, and then I think I've got the oil hot enough for us to get some of these frying. So I'm going to drop one down in the hot oil while we go. Just put it right there in the little basket. We're going to plop that in. Oh, there it goes. So when we come back from the break, we're going to get the rest of these pies in the hot oil frying, and then we're going to get started on that banana bread pudding. Sounds great. So come back with us after the break. Welcome back, and you know, Hyler, those turnovers turned out great, didn't they? fried apple pies, and we just cannot wait to try those in a few minutes. But now we're ready to get started on a banana bread pudding. And Hyler, you have got some really nice ripe bananas over there. We've taken them and cut them lengthwise, and now she's cutting them into about 1/2-inch slices. And you know, I want to remind everyone that when you're working with a young person, it's never too many times to say, be careful with that knife. You know, and hopefully you don't get aggravated, but you know, you can just get excited in the moment, but always be very, very careful when you're using a sharp knife. Also, I want to give you a tip about a banana. If you're going to do something like this and the bananas aren't ripe at the grocery store, you can actually put them on a sheet pan just like this in a nice kind of warm oven. And after about an hour, you'll start to see those brown spots. So it's just kind of a quick way to ripen up a banana. But while she's finishing cutting the bananas, I'm going to get started on this caramel sauce. And we've cooked down some sugar and water just enough to get it kind of amber colored. Now I'm going to add to that some soft butter. And this is room temperature butter. And then I've got some cream. And I'm at this point just going to start whisking this together. Oh, and there's nothing like this aroma too. Cream and butter. So we're going to get that going. And then we've got some fresh lemon juice. And this is going to go between the layers of that bread pudding and also drizzled over the top at the end. So this will start to thicken up. I'm going to add just a little bit of kosher salt to that. All right, so we're going to back away from that for a few minutes and let that get good and cooled off. And now we're going to start on the actual pudding part of this bread pudding. So let me add the eggs first, Hyler. This is 5 eggs to a cup of sugar. And as I start to whisk this around, my able assistant here is going to start adding in some heavy cream. And then the milk. So this is going to be really nice. And before we came on tonight, Hyler was nice enough to cut all the bread up into these wonderful cubes. We put that in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes and got that bread nice and dried out. All right, so we've got a wonderful mixture. And then what is that? Vanilla. Perfect. All righty. Now the fun begins. Let's start adding all of these components to this milk mixture. So if you'll start putting the bananas in, we're just going to slide those right off the plate. And then the bread. So it's a little bit different way of doing this. And you know, this is a really wonderful dessert this time of year. It just works out really well. Again, I love to say that when you can get things done ahead, that you don't have to do it the last minute. Okay, let me kind of moisten these around. Just gonna kind of take those down. And this is just a good chunky loaf of bread I picked up at the Fresh Market. They have so many different things in that bakery to choose from. It makes it a little hard. You could actually do this with the raisin bread too if you wanted to. All right, so let's find a spoon in this drawer right here because we're going to be spooning this into the casserole dish. And I'm going to let you get started with putting half of this mixture in the bottom of this casserole dish. And I went ahead and buttered the dish so it is ready to go. So if you want to just spoon that in, and I'm going to be whisking away over here. And Hyler, you know, I mentioned when we came on that she has been part of my camping program for, let's just do it just like this, just one big spoonful at a time. She's been part of the camping program at VeryVera now for 3 years. And can I brag about you? She was Camper of the Week this past summer. So Hyler goes to Meade Academy, Meade Hall in Aiken, and is a 7th grader. So we are very, very happy to have her as part of our cooking program. And you know, it takes a lot of unique qualities to get elected as a Camper of the Week. So she had every one of those qualities visible. Okay, that's looking good. So let me come over here and just get about half of this, and then we're gonna pour the caramel, and then we'll do it all over again. So this wonderful caramel is gonna go all the way over the top. Doesn't that look great?
Awesome.
Woo! Okay, when we come back from the break, we'll have this finished and in the oven, and we're gonna get started on some candy cane bark.
Yum.
Wonderful. Hey y'all, hasn't this been so much fun today? Y'all excuse me just a minute? You know, if you ever have to get up from the table during a party or a dinner, it's always appropriate, if you're planning to come back, to put your napkin in the chair. That indicates that you are planning to come back to the table. The other great thing about this is to involve a young person in the service of the meal and to teach them how to go about it, and it will also make them more comfortable when they're invited to a dinner party. So Hyler knows that when I get up, she is going to take the napkin and put it on the back of the chair. She'll be waiting for me to return, and once I've seated myself, then she is going to put the napkin directly in my lap. Thank you, Hyler. This is so wonderful to help a young person become more comfortable with the dinner party situation and to learn all of the different skills of etiquette while she does it. Welcome back. Hyler, are you having fun? I'm having fun too. You know what? There's nothing like a young person in the kitchen with you, whether it's your daughter or your granddaughter or one of your favorite cooking campers. It's always fun. And we've had just a great time today. If you're just tuning in, you have missed us making the most delicious fried apple pies. We've got a banana bread pudding with sea salt caramel in the oven. And now we are doing, and you know I messed up before the break because I said candy cane and I meant candy corn, but she said y'all would know what I was talking about. So we are making a candy corn bark. And what are you doing there? So the base of this bark is a saltine cracker. So if you haven't kind of gotten the idea, we're kind of going for sweet and salty today, which I love to mix salt with anything sweet. So she's getting the pan completely ready for the butter. And I have melted 2 sticks of unsalted butter and a half a cup of sugar, and we're just gonna literally pour this over. So you're almost ready for us to do that. And if you get to the end of the cookie sheet and you're in an odd spot, then we're just gonna break pieces. So very carefully while you finish at that end, I am going to start just pouring this butter over these crackers. And then this is going to go into a 350-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes. So this is going to be great. So I'll let you finish there. And then while I finish pouring, we're going to get started on an appetizer platter that kind of carries out the same, that's good, the same theme of candy corn. So I'll let you go on down to the other counter while I get this in the oven. And those crackers are just going to absorb all of this liquid. You notice I said liquid instead of butter? But this is going to be so good. All right, so let me get this in the oven real quick. And I'm just going to put it just below where the banana bread pudding is. And doesn't that look spectacular? All right, so let's see what we've got going down here. Okay, Hyler, we are going to make a platter that looks like a big old candy corn. So I chose this platter not only because somebody I care about gave it to me, but because it's kind of turquoise color and I thought it looked cool with the orange and yellow. So the bottom of the cheese tray is going to be Havarti cheese, and we bought just the slices. And Hyler, you're just folding those, right? Okay, when you fold them like that, it just kind of easily comes apart, doesn't it? You don't even have to use a knife. And then we've got the cheese cubes. And hold that package up right there. These are just those, you know, those sticks that I bet your mom used to put those in your lunch. She might still do it. I packed John and Daniel's lunch until they were seniors in high school. But you know, if you want to do kind of semi-making something, like if you know, had somebody, maybe one of the smaller campers, one of the 8-year-olds in the group with us, instead of buying the already cubed cheese like that, you could do that. They could unfold it, then maybe take a knife that was just a kitchen knife and not a sharp knife and cut it into the cubes. All right, so this is going to be the top part of the candy corn. And then we'll start getting, might have made this just a little bit too wide. Okay, why don't you start filling in with the cubes right there. And then this will be a great way to kind of introduce the theme of the party, is to have, you know, a tray that kind of represents what we're doing. And this time of year, you know, the leaves are beautiful outside. It's just getting to be so nice. It's fun to not necessarily call everything in October Halloween, but just enjoying fall and all the flavors that go with it. So when we come back after the break, we're going to be finishing that bark. We're going to put a bunch of chocolate on the top, and it's just going to get melted and gooey, and then sprinkle it with candy corn. Hyler's going to finish this really great looking cheese tray, and then we're going to show you how to garnish everything and make it really fun to have. So let's keep going on this, and you guys come back with us after the break. Welcome back, and it's time to take this gorgeous banana bread pudding out of the oven. Oh my goodness, look at that. You know, and if you guys don't make this recipe, I'm going to be so upset. And you can find the recipes on NBC26.tv under the VeryVera show. And Hyler, you've got those fried apple pies that look fantastic. So we're going to get started making this thing look like a party. So Hyler is putting the fried apple pies in a Harold Crook bowl. And if you're not familiar with Harold Crook, he does wonderful things here locally with wood, and I've got several of his pieces. I absolutely love that. That turned out great. And then the bark that we did during the break, Hyler and I got the chocolate on top of the saltines when they were piping hot out of the oven. Then she put the candy corn all over it. Looked so good. Then we stuck it in the freezer for a few minutes so we could break it up. So we're going to start putting that in my Gordy pottery cookie jar. And I've got to share this because my children, I'm sure you never did this, Hyler, but they would sneak in the kitchen and lift that lid, and every now and then I would hear it and I would know they were in the cookie jar. So we're going to fill the cookie jar up with the bark. And so if you want to start doing that, then I'm going to start dipping this wonderful banana bread pudding onto a plate, because we are going to be trying that in just a minute. And remember that wonderful caramel? We're going to pour a little bit of that on top. And then I'm going to let Hyler, you've just got a million jobs over here. She's going to put some whipped cream topping on this. And we're going to garnish it with some banana chips. And you know, that's what's so much fun to me at Fresh Market, is that you can find all of these really great things to garnish, that you don't have to worry about what the garnish is going to be. And you could even dip some of these in melted chocolate, would be a lot of fun. So let me get a plate of this as well. And you know, we were talking today about the fact that if the recipe says to cut the crust off, we don't do it. Because she likes the crust and so do I. So we've got that all ready to go. And then this is our cheese tray that we did that has goat cheese at the top, the cheddar cheese cubes, and then Havarti cheese. And this is just a wafer with some cracked black pepper. But that makes a wonderful way to get the party started at the beginning. So I don't know about you, but I'm kind of ready to dive in and see what some of this tastes like. You want to try it? So I want to remind everybody that the VeryVera School of Good Taste is back in business. We're going to have our first class coming up. So if you want more information, go to VeryVera. Is it good? Go to VeryVera.com and we'll tell you all about it. But in the meantime, I want you to remember that camp is a wonderful experience, a great thing for your young person to be doing. And you know, in our business, we always say that no matter what you do it in good taste. And we know we're not supposed to talk with our mouth full, so I kind of put her on the spot right there. But I hope you'll join us back again next week. We're still cooking up wonderful things for fall, and sign up for that camp experience. And I just can't wait to try this. Oh, the banana. This will make you never want banana pudding ever again, right? So try the recipes on NBC26.tv, and remember to come back next week with us. And happy fall, everybody. I want to try some of the bark too. That sounds great. Thank you so much for joining me today, Howard.